All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Hakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS rule as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is Porsches deactivated across Russia. And ultimately, and then I got M.O.T.B there, right? Because the scriptures here say Second Corinthians 2:11, it says, "Least Satan should get an advantage of us, but we are not ignorant of his devices." Right, and we understand that his ultimate device will be the M.O.T.B, right? The digital micro C hip that he's going to implement in your right hand or your forehead that no man may buy or sell, which will be a physical mark. And what this device that he's going to implement is going to allow him to have total control over you, and everything else. Ultimately, that he can cut it on and cut it off at will. If he don't like you, he'll turn it on and turn it off. Control, the amount of food basically every single aspect of your life. Just you need to enter into your car. You need to enter into your apartment or your home, right? You need to enter into your job. There's a lot of things that this devil will be able to do with this M.O.T.B. Like, say if you 5 minutes late, right? In your last straw. And if you late again, you're gonna get fired. And the M.O.T.B is implemented. And this devil, it says he don't sleep unless he has caused something to fall. So you on your last scroll, you got 5 minutes, and you put your hand up to get into the gate to go into your workplace, and you can't because it's just malfunctioning right now, right? And you already used that excuse and told your boss, yeah, it was malfunctioning. So you can't say it again, right? So, and so that those type of things will happen. It's just like a little example, but ultimately this device will give him total control. So what we got here is a remote kill switch. Now, even with this M.O.T.B, I said that at one point that they could even put, for the people that get in their brain, they can put an actual remote kill switch in there where, it injects something to your brain or something and just makes you, drop dead. Or the case may be. Ultimately, they can just cut it off, and allow you not to operate in society, even if you have the chip. And then, what you gonna do? Nothing, pretty much, right? So, remote kill switch. Porsche just deactivated all newer vehicles across Russia via satellite. So ultimately, what happened here was Porsche, right? The vehicles, all of them in Russia, just Russia, right, got deactivated. And this is the power that this devil is going to have when he implements this digital system, because you already got your Teslas. We've seen No Way Leave the Road Behind, right? When they had all, if you haven't checked the movie out, you can go check it out. But all the Teslas was driving to one place and blocking the road because they was all electronic, and it's already self-driving. So it already knows, it got Google Earth already implemented into it, and it can go where it needs to go, and it can drive via satellite. That's how it drives operates. That's how it self-drives and self-park. All right. And so they're able to do the same thing. When they implement this digital system, it'd be just like that. And ultimately, they are going to implement the system. It's not going to last very long, but we're telling you that this is the system that they're trying to set up. The M.O.T.B is what we say it is, right? Which is a digital micro C hip, which is a physical thing they're going to implement into you, right? That you won't buy, that you can't buy or sell with it, right? And that's why I gave you Second Corinthians 2:11. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. As you can see, they already have that power somewhat, right? But the real power is when they put it inside of you and it cut you off. A remote kill switch for people, where, like I said, you try to buy some food, you just can't buy food no more. And they give you some, vague excuse or reason to what happened. All right. So, check this out.
This is Tapu 7. We're getting word that Porsche has deactivated across Russia and has shut down multiple vehicles, like a plethora of vehicles. Anything from 2013 and on have been hit. And Porsche, if you don't know, followed Germany's footsteps back when Germany broke away and said, "The heck with Russia, we're going to war with them," basically. And they took that stance against them. Now, all of a sudden, just within Russia, we have all these vehicles dealing with this. Porsche tries to come out and say, "Oh, it was an accident." They didn't mean.
Right. So ultimately behind the scenes we do have things going, right? And that's why I got these two precepts here because this could have been, imagine, how much trouble this caused for the whole of Russia. Anyone that had portion there that day could not go to where they was trying to go. They didn't care if you had a sick child that just fucked around and did something they wasn't supposed to do, right? And you trying to rush to the hospital or something, and now you can't move. Someone, whatever the case may be, you need to go get some groceries, right? You had an important meeting, whatever it was, and they shut it all down, right? So I got Psalms 10:5, right? It says his ways are always grievous, that judgments are far above out of his sight. Matter of fact, let me start at 4. I'll just get it from the top. Right? It says a prayer for the overthrow of the wicked. Psalm 10:1. It says, why standest thou afar off, O Lord Yahweh Bashmi? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covets, whom the Lord Yahweh Bashmi shall abhor. Right? So people that, gain, greedy for gain, right? Want, lovers of the world. It says the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous, that judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Right. So this is an example, that this dude is saying that basically, this is what could happen, right? Obviously, there are odds, right, with Russia, and they wanted to cause problems with Russia. Even now, the saying is that America has been backed into a corner, and they're starting trouble all over the world to try to find some opportunity, to save themselves. But the scriptures say there's no healing of thy bruise, right? The wound is too grievous, and so start doing this thing in Russia would be another example of that, basically. And ultimately, don't forget, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. This is the type of power that he's seeking to have total control, right, over the whole world, to be able to have a remote kill switch for humans. All right, because the same scenarios plays out. You can't even now. Not only does the card not work, even if it did work, you can't unlock the door to get in because this key he got in his hand is inside your body. All right. So let me play this.
Mean to do it, and no hackers have come out and this. Porsche tries to come out and say, oh, it was an accident. They didn't mean to do it, and no hackers have come out and claimed any responsibility. But what they try to say is that a satellite security feature intended to protect against theft did this. They say that this shut down the vehicles, it makes them unable to start. They say that this was brought on by some kind of glitch in the satellites, to where the satellite did not relay to these vehicles. Therefore, it caused this. A loss of satellite connectivity signaled a potential auto theft.
Right. And I remember when the one guy, was inside the Tesla and got burned up, right? I guess the battery malfunctioned or something, and it caught fire, and then he couldn't even open the doors, right? And the people around couldn't do anything to help him, and the guy burned up on the inside. And they're gonna have that type of power, once they implement their system, right? So it's best to not trust these devils, never trust our enemy, and right, and to avoid his mark, and just lean on Yahweh Bashmi Awashah. All right,
is what they're saying, and therefore immediately deactivated the vehicle. Others are saying, well, why didn't this happen right across the border in Ukraine? In any other part of the world, why did this not happen? Satellites don't just pick and choose. That is where Porsche is smoked, because they've shown their hand here. This is just like Israel coming out and blowing up pagers and all that stuff and showing their hand and what they can do with technology. Porsche showing the whole world now that they can shut you down anywhere you're at any point in time. And they can blame something as simple as a satellite glitch or loss of satellite connectivity. We've never heard this before. It's never happened large scale to anyone else. It seems malicious and it seems targeted toward Russia. There's video clips of guys in Russia that are telling people we can fix your vehicle. We got to bring it in and they got to disable all this stuff. I'll leave a link where you guys can check out some of these shorts where they're going in.
Let me play this little part again right here because I got a preset for this part.
Or loss of satellite connectivity. We've never heard this before. It's never happened large scale to anyone else. It seems malicious and it seems targeted toward Russia because they've shown their hand here. This is just like Israel coming out and blowing up pagers and all that stuff and showing their hand and what they can do with technology. Porsche showing the whole world now that they can shut you down anywhere you're at any point in time. And they can blame something as simple as a satellite glitch.
Exactly. And that's the point. This is bigger than just these dumbass Porsches, right? This is the M.O.T.B. This is the type of power they're gonna have when they implement a whole digital system to a whole fucking world. And that's how dumb. Hey, yo, the whole world is watching this. And they're all still gonna go for the M.O.T.B. Right? Russia just got shut down. All the citizens are shut down. They still gonna go for the M.O.T.B. And that's why the scriptures say gross darkness the people. I was gonna grab this over here. All right. But matter of fact, let me get that one precept I was gonna get. Psalms 64. The smart ones, hey, the whole elect, we fleeing away. Or we clearly see we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? Let me get to the point real quick. This is Psalms 64 and 7. It says, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. They're wounded right now, right? This is we're seeing this to know, and warn the sheep. Hey, listen, you see the power they have with this Porsche, right? And they don't already have the M.O.T.B. out there yet. How much more so when they put it inside you? We warning you, we telling you. It says, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. This is how they made their own tongue to fall upon themselves, by showing their hand, like this dude just said. N.O.T. Their own tongues will ruin them, and all who sees them will shake their heads in scorn. Yo, this is a major thing that just has happened right here. Psalm 64:9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Right? Yeah, so we're gonna trust in the Lord, obviously, because we can't trust these devils, even with limited power. They shut down all vehicles, right? But like I was saying, gross darkness. People should be using this as an example. Like, yo, why the hell would you want a system where you have total control to do this? And right now, we're seeing that, oh, you don't like Russia, so all the Porsche only in Russia shuts down. Isaiah 61, arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh is risen upon thee. Right? For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Right. So, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Right. So we understand what's going on. We're comforted, right? We're calm, cool, and collected. All hell is breaking loose, and we know exactly what's going on. So we're good. We're chilling. And we telling the whole elect, yo, listen, don't worry about it. Yahweh Bashim got us. Right. If we lean on him, trust in him, he got us. We're gonna be good. But gross darkness to people, they don't know what the hell is going on. They see shit like this, and they still don't know. Some of them, figuring it out. But listen to what he said again. They showing their hands, the type of power they're trying to receive.
Satellites don't just pick and choose. That is where Porsche is smoked, because they've shown their hand here. This is just like Israel coming out and blowing up pagers and all that stuff and showing their hand and what they can do with technology. Porsche showing the whole world now that they can shut you down anywhere you're at any point in time. And they can blame something as simple as a satellite glitch or loss of satellite connectivity. We've never heard this before. It's
Revelation. Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the name of his name. So you see how he's going to cause you not to buy or sell, because he's going to put that digital device inside of you. And if you don't have it, you can't buy or sell. And if you do have it, he can then even cut it off and you still won't buy or sell. That's why in verse 15 it says, Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power, right, to give life unto the image of the beast, right, which is this digital system that he's setting up. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right now, Russia is going against the grain, right? And now, like I gave that example, people need to go to the hospital that day. Emergency happened. Whatever the case may be. Imagine if the car shut on fire and they couldn't get in and out because it's just locked. The keys don't work no more, right? So that's the same way how Esau is going to shut you down when you take his M.O.T.B, that you won't be able to buy or sell. Just like that. Just like this.
It's never happened large scale to anyone else. It seems malicious and it seems targeted toward Russia. There's video clips of guys in Russia that are telling people, we can fix your vehicle, we got to bring it in, and they got to disable all the stuff. I'll leave a link where you guys can check out some of these.
All right, so they got their problems over there. So here's the article. It said Porsche deactivated across Russia. All right, that was posted December 15th. So I think this is a video right here.
Right, guys, here we have a 2020 Porsche Macan. This vehicle came in for VTS errors, which is part of the vehicle tracking system. We have disconnected the front BCM, read it, turned off the VTS, and we have also disconnected the vehicle tracking system, which is there. And also we had to remove the rear BCM, and after some modifications we now have a fully functioning vehicle.
So they working around it. When this M.O.T.B come out, ain't gonna be no working around it. All right. It says Porsche owners across Russia were unable to start the vehicles without warning. The German automaker claimed the sudden immobilization was due to an issue with the vehicle tracking system, a satellite security feature intended to protect against auto theft. In reality, Porsche admitted to the world that automakers have the ability to control modernized cars in real time. That's it right there. That's what they admitted to the world just now, that they have the ability to have total control to make it work or make it not work. In reality, right? So, hey, this is another M.O.T.B warning. This is what it's going to be. It says the loss of satellite connectivity signaled a potential auto theft and therefore immediate deactivation. The engine immobilizer turned on simultaneously for hundreds of vehicles across Russia without warning. The blackout that affected every model past 2013 that contained the tracking satellite program. Some owners reported success after disconnecting the car batteries for 10 hours. Others managed to reboot the VTS module, but the majority instantly lost access to transportation. Just like that. Oh, you want to go to the store? Nope, can't do that. So when they get the M.O.T.B, ain't shit gonna change. It's just gonna be amplified. And they're gonna give you some dumbass excuses for why it don't work. But like I said, it's once that M.O.T.B comes out, just like the Elder Apostle Tahar, right? The Elder Apostle Tahar, the elders of GMS, they say it's gonna move quickly. All right, things gonna move quickly because the whole elect is not gonna get this M.O.T.B, right? So Hey, ultimately, that's pretty much all I had with this. Just another warning. Of course, I wanted to grab this real quick because he did mention the wars regarding, maybe, something had happened or whatever the case may be. Matthew 24:6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're going to see wars and we're going to see rumors of wars, right? And right now, we understand that NATO and EU, right, and basically America is at war with Russia, right? They haven't announced World War III, just like they didn't announce war with Venezuela, but they're bombing Venezuela boats. They're taking ships. They're talking about land strikes, but they haven't announced the war, right? But they're doing everything that a war consists of. And right now, the whole world is at war, right? It's war all over the place. And World War III has started. It just hasn't went. It hasn't intensified yet to the point where people need to be drafted out there, and you're seeing jets flying over your foreheads, right? But that is all happening over here in the Middle East, right? The Levant region, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Israel, right? All these things are happening. All right. So anyway, that's all I had. Lord willing, you are edified from the lesson. Shalom to the leg, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.